What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game Season 3, Episode 17. This is the average man's perspective on football. I'm the host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
Next up is Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
And then Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us. I need my applause louder, please.
You get it longer, you don't get it louder. It's at the set value, so.
Hey, can we get like the Arsenio Hall drummer to go, ooh?
I look for it.
That's copyright, probably.
Sorry. I mean, like I've been kind of all over the place with that, but
most people don't even remember Arsenio Hall.
What?
I said most people don't even probably remember Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, I'm saying they like Arsenio who?
Yeah. So they'll think we started it. They'll be like, oh, that's good.
We appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. Join us on New Year's Eve. Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can catch us on Facebook and our Facebook group, The Live Game. You can also catch us on Twitter at the Live Game 3. And we're also on Instagram at the official Delay of Game. We're in the final week of regular season football. I got to be honest, I didn't think we'd make it this far, but somehow we did.
Yeah, let's address that real quick. The two negative Nancy's on one side didn't think we'd get very far with football, and me and Mr. Optimistic below me.
Glass is always full.
Exactly.
I gotta admit, I am amazed about it, and I did think it'd be 5 or 6 games, man. But I'm happy to see it here, though.
Yeah.
In all fairness, they should have shut it down. They just didn't.
I can't disagree with that.
I agree, Marcus. I agree.
Even last week, they probably should have shut it down, but
hey, they got it in.
But they got it in. They got it in.
Well, we'll see how it turns out. Now, remind me once again who's hosting tonight. I should ask this question before the show starts.
Yeah, that would be Mark.
Oh, that would be Mark.
Look, you should know. When was the rundown done?
Hold on, that was Brian, wasn't it?
That was done yesterday.
It's my turn, Mark. Herman does.
That's what I thought.
No,
it is.
It's Brian.
It is.
It's Brian.
I don't feel bad because y'all don't even know. So Brian is hosting tonight.
Wrong.
So go ahead and
we did go back and look at it because I thought it was, and then Herman like that. I was like, well, damn, maybe it isn't. So I went back and looked at the video.
What's the order of hosting?
It's Mark, you, and me.
Should this be a private conversation?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, we all family here on Facebook. What's the difference?
But Brian is the host tonight.
Yeah. Look, this is the average man perspective, right, Marcus? So we average.
We average, right? We giving you the average talk. That's all it is.
So we're gonna go ahead and get into this one because we got a lot to talk about this week. It's a lot of games involved that have playoff implications, especially in the NFC East. Who would ever thought that the last week the Cowboys, the Washington, and the Giants have a chance to win the division and go to the playoffs.
All with losing records,
all with losing records. But you thought that somebody would have won this division by now. It's just crazy that it goes down to the last game, which makes it kind of exciting, even though we know neither of the three teams are going to go far. But first, we're going to have a little news of the week. And of course, we can't have news of the week without exactly. Thank you, Cardi. Last week, the Cleveland Browns lost 4 receivers due to COVID. Last Saturday, the Browns closed their facilities. Saturday closed their facilities and delayed their flight to New Jersey due to a COVID scare. Linebacker B.J. Goodson tested positive and was placed on the COVID reserve list. In addition, the 4 receivers, Landry, Higgins, Peoples-Jones, and Hodge, as well as another linebacker, Phillips, were all deemed close contact and were unable to play on Sunday, which definitely affect the Browns' chances against the Jets. As we all know, they lost that game. In addition to that, today, Cleveland had a coach and a reserve player on COVID. They had to shut their facilities down again. Luckily, they were able to open them back up and have practice today, but it's just getting crazy. In other COVID news, the Baltimore Ravens were fined $250,000 for COVID-19 violations. The NFL has fined the Ravens $250,000 for their violation of the COVID rules, which postponed their Thanksgiving game versus the Steelers. The Ravens had 4 unique strains over 10 days in the facility, and the strength coach, Steve Saunders, was suspended for failing to report his symptoms and not always wearing a mask. Tisk on you, Mr. Saunders. And then last, the NFL may expand the regular season to 17 games in 2021. Since 1978, the NFL has played a 16-game season. In 2021, that may change. The NFL has negotiated a new deal. NFL has to negotiate a new media deal, which one team source says we're anticipating it is going to happen. Once approved, the preseason will be cut down by 2 or 3 games, 1 bye week for clubs still, and the season would extend to 18 weeks. Finally, the Super Bowl would be pushed back to the 2nd week of February. So more football, more fun. Now, let's get into a couple hot topics. The first hot topic has to deal with the Miami Dolphins Raiders game. In that game, Brian Flores, the NFL head coach of the Dolphins, pulled his starting quarterback Tua. How you say his last name? Mark Tagovailoa.
Yeah,
We just call him Tua. We just call him Tua. We don't say that.
Tua. And pulled in for Fitzmagic to try to pull out a win at the end of the game when they were losing to the Raiders. Fitzpatrick did do it with a terrible face mask and a beautiful throw to the sideline. They got in field goal range, kicked the field goal, and did win. But do you think that Flores is using his quarterbacks correctly? Are the decisions that he's making affecting Tua's progress or hurting Fitzpatrick, by not letting him start? We'll start this one off with Marcus.
I'm glad you came to me. I only got one question. Did they win the game?
Yes.
Okay. Then you got to do what you got to do to win the game. They need to win that game to make the playoffs. To me, this question maybe should be asked for next year. For this season, he did what he had to do to win the game. When he took Tua out, because at the time he was only 17 for 22, 94 yards. He was looking very anemic. He did have 1 touchdown, but the team needed a spark. And he felt like that Fitzmagic was it. And if anything, we know of Fitzmagic, he's great in short spurts. He's definitely a starting NFL quarterback for a short period of time, not for a whole season. And so I feel like he brought him in at the right time. And let's be real, that pass at the end, that was a hell of a pass. I don't know how he made that pass with his neck being twisted back like that. It was amazing. He truly earned the name Fitzmagic. And I mean, Tua, this is his first year. They got plenty of time to coach him up and to get him along. But if they really want to make a playoff run this year, they did what they had to do. Because I personally don't believe that they would have won that game if they hadn't took Tua out. And that's nothing negative on Tua. It just they needed a spark. Fitzmagic was that spark, and it worked. So you can say, did he do the right thing? I would say yes. I think he handled it. I think he handled that game and that situation correctly. Now, what happens this week and what happens if they make the playoffs? We wait to be seen. But for that game this past week, yes, he handled it correctly.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part, Marcus. I think for right now, for this year, he did handle it correctly. How this is going to affect Tua down the line will determine basically if Fitzmagic, which probably won't be on the Dolphins next year. But what about if they do make the playoffs? Does Tua get this chance to run that team the whole time, or is he always looking over his shoulder, wondering if he's going to get pulled for poor play? And then how does that, what about Fitzmagic? He knows he feels like he's the better quarterback in his head, but he's sitting behind Tua because Tua was a high draft pick. Now they seem to be playing well on the sideline. They seem to be helping each other and looking out. And you're right, Marcus. That throw was ridiculous. I mean, that gave new meaning to a no-look pass, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, Mahomes ain't never done that.
No. But it does put in question, again, if Fitzmagic is on this team next year, I think it may be a detriment to Tua.
I agree.
This year, do what you got to do, to get these wins. But we'll see down the road. What do you think, Mark?
I think Brian Flores has a very unique situation here. He has his mindset, this team's mindset, on the best guy that gives it a chance, opportunity to win, gets in there. I think there's no question. Tua is the starter. He is their future. Fitzpatrick is the closer. They've got this thing kind of worked out, and it works. You know, reason why it works. Neither one of these quarterbacks have an attitude or a me problem. That's why this works. I think it's fantastic for right now. The two guys that mentality is team first. That's basically what they pretty much been taught back, been going with, especially coming from Flores' camp, and it works. So as long as it's working, ain't no need to try to stop it and do anything with it. Now going into next year, I think Tua is really coming off an injury. So maybe, these games are maybe start getting to him because he's playing a little bit longer. I think he'll be in a better health-wise condition and mentally. So I think, he'll be ready to full players take this offense on. But right now, it's working. Hey, don't mess with it right now. It's working.
And he might get a real offseason in next season. He might.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I said, yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Herman, finish it up.
So I'm going to disagree with y'all about how he's handling it. I don't think he's handling it correctly, in my opinion. And it's easy to say, yeah, he's handling it correctly because they're winning the game. But in my opinion, at this point, and as important as like these couple games are coming up, I honestly think he should just go ahead and sit Tua down and say, look, I'm going to put in Fitzpatrick. I'm going to start Fitzpatrick. In our opinion right now, we want you to develop more. You don't want him always having to look over his shoulder. And right now, that's what you're creating. You're creating the look over his shoulder because, like you guys said, if Fitzpatrick is on a team next year, Tua's constantly going to be looking over his shoulder. He's never going to learn to play through a bad game with the coach doing this, pulling them out at any given time. If Brian Flores wants to win right now, he could easily sit that young man down and say, look, I'm making this decision. I'm making it because it's the right decision for the team. It's not that I don't have the confidence in you. It's that I think that you need more development, and I don't want to put you in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? And just roll with Fitzpatrick. And then if Fitzpatrick starts to stink it up, then you bring in Tua and let Tua possibly give him a spark. But what you're doing to this young man right now is, you can mess with his development. You can mess with his psyche. You can mess it up. And to me, if you don't believe that Tua can finish out these games, you should just roll with Fitzpatrick. This is not baseball. There's no closers. There's no closers in football. That's crazy. So I don't think that he's handling it properly. I mean, if you want to win now, you go with the experienced guy and you leave it at that. If you started Fitzpatrick, you may have never been down to Miami. I mean, to Vegas at any point. You could have been, had that game whole-handedly from the beginning, and you wouldn't have had to win on a last-minute field goal. Because if that kicker had missed that field goal, or if they had lost this game, I think we'd be crucifying Brian Flores right now.
I mean, look, if Gruden didn't try to play smart and go and score the touchdown, they would have lost.
Amen. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation we could have about that too.
But I don't like it.
I don't think Fitzmagic will be there next season. I think you're right.
Possibly he won't.
If Fitzpatrick, I agree with you. If Fitzpatrick is there next season, he will stunt to his growth.
But how about this?
He has to go.
How about this? What if Fitzpatrick goes and you get somebody else who's just as good as Fitzpatrick, or maybe even possibly better? Maybe they pick up a better veteran quarterback. The dude's psyche is going to be looking over his shoulder. He just needs to roll with the veteran. If you want to get in the playoffs, roll with the veteran. That's what it boils down to.
So basically, you think he should have just made a decision and stuck with it for the season?
Yes.
Once he decided to put Tua in, he should have just stuck with Tua.
Either stuck with Tua, or when he pulled Tua that one game and put Fitzpatrick in, and then Tua started the following week, Tua should have never started that following week.
Wasn't that because of injury?
That was before. That wasn't injury.
Didn't Tua get hurt?
That wasn't because of injury.
Okay.
Huh?
He got benched healthy before too.
Yeah, he was healthy when he got benched on that game.
Okay.
So,
All right. Now, this topic, y'all got to give us a little leeway. This one's going to get a little hot and heavy. It's been all over our area. We're going to have a continuation of the who's to blame for the Haskins demise. For those who don't know, and I don't know how you don't know unless you live under a rock, Haskins was released from the Washington team, and all hell has broken loose ever since. We had a very heated debate on our little chat, and I said, look, we got to stop and let's just go ahead and have this on the show because this is a good one. We're going to let Mark start because I want Herman and Marcus to get theirs in last.
Thank you, sir. Hey, man, at some point, Rivera got to the point with having him on this roster was not good for the team. It wasn't good. His off the field behavior became more of a problem itself. You make this guy your team captain, and yet he doesn't do everything that you need him to do on and off the field as far as leadership is concerned. And something else I just saw today too is he's a first round quarterback to be released in the second before the end of his second season, which has never been done before. He they're trying to make the playoff run, and I can understand it, but I think at some point, man, he's going to kill the culture of this locker room. I think the locker room was about to turn on him too, and that was another reason why Rivera had to get him out of there. The only thing that's going to be a knock against this too is he got a guaranteed contract. They still owe $4.2 million on it. Now there's some way they can get out of that one because of his he's being fined for the COVID incident, so they can probably recoup a little bit of that money back, but not pay him as much. But his football knowledge, along with he wasn't ready for prime time. He simply wasn't ready. Is part of it his fault? Yes, it is. Some of it is the organization's fault. This guy shouldn't have been drafted so high to go with. I think the owner, Daniel Snyder, fell in love with what he used to play football with his son in high school. So I don't think the decision came necessarily from the coaches to be exact. But here's another interesting twist on it too. There's possibility they talked to Urban Meyer, who was his college coach. Let's say if he gets into Detroit, there's a chance he could kick the tires on it. They thought the idea of possibly Pittsburgh picking him up. I can see him. Mike Tomlin probably could put him a little bit on the wraps, but I actually think I see him in Jacksonville along with Jay Gruden. To be honest with you, but part of it is both. It's both parties involved with it.
I don't think Jay Gruden wanted him.
Well, as far as him being coached up by a so-called quarterback coach,
and
he has a little bit of knowledge about him. That's the only reason why I say they may take. And Jacksonville needs a quarterback. They need quarterback. They need somebody down there. Then, granted, he won't be. I don't think he'll be a second string. He'll probably be a third string quarterback right now. But
not at Jacksonville, he wouldn't.
Well, somebody kick the tires on it. Possibly somebody.
He already has interest.
Interest ain't being signed.
Right.
Nobody has to sign him. You don't have to sign him right now.
He did make it through waivers, and that's true. Nobody really needs to sign him right now. I mean, this season,
it's the money thing.
Yeah, he'll probably get some interest, like Herman was saying, in the offseason. And Mark, you brought up some really good points, and I don't know if you guys are looking at the tweet, but Rev, he kind of stole my thunder, and this is a continuation of the RG3.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is.
BS.
RG3 thing was so good, so bad, so close to the coach. I mean, so close to the owner. Where he could feel like he could do almost anything and not get in any trouble. It's similar with Haskins. I mean, when your head coach is fighting cancer and you don't care, I mean, that's kind of messed up. And that's really too much entitlement. Way too much entitlement for somebody who's done nothing in this league. He in college, I mean, he was setting records. I think he set a record for like touchdowns, and really should have been better than what has happened. But I think it started with the coach last year putting him in too early. I don't think he really should have played. I think he should have redshirted last year. I think he should have sat. I think he should have learned how to be a proper quarterback, and I think he should have learned something, and he didn't. This year, they kind of gave him the job. I don't really think he earned the job. I think it was almost by default because, Kyle was just getting in there and what have you. But they were very quick to get rid of him as soon as he was bad. And this last game of Carolina was his last grasp to try to do something well for Washington. And he stunk it up. He was terrible. I can't believe that he played this bad. You just hand the ball off. I don't know what you're doing, but you were just throwing terrible interceptions. And, they couldn't wait to get out of there. This little Heineke guy at least got the Redskins down and got them into scoring range. That just speaks volumes to you. The only thing about this whole situation that hurts me is the another black quarterback is being rampaged and bamboozled and just run through the mud over the media, especially by our own. We saw a video of Booger, talking about this situation, which I truly didn't really care for. Shannon Sharp has spoke on this subject negatively, and it was tough for just to have black quarterbacks in the NFL. And for those that played the game and know how hard it is to be a black quarterback in the NFL, it kind of was a sad sight for the black community. So, although you got to make clicks and you got to make your money, just be careful on who, especially when it's one of us that you're slandering.
Yeah, true. I don't know who that Facebook user is that said that, but I 100,000% agree with you. Booger is a clown. What an idiot.
I don't mind Booker now. He's no longer on Monday Night Football. That's the only. That's why I didn't like him. Nah, he's cool with me.
All right, Marcus, go ahead.
Let Herman go first.
Go ahead,
Herman. You know what? And I'm gonna start off with what Brian said. You're right, Brian. It's crazy to see previous black athletes go after this young man like that. Because they act like they didn't do stupid stuff when they were in their 20s. Okay, Dwayne Haskins, he's immature, and he definitely has blame in all of this. He definitely has blame in all of this. I'm never going to say he doesn't have blame in all this because he needs to mature. But he was pulled into a terrible situation, when he was drafted. Coaching staff didn't want him. Then he goes to another coaching staff comes in. And I don't care what Ron Rivera might spit out to you. He didn't want him either. The only reason that they did not move from him is because of Dan Snyder. Ron Rivera brought in his Carolina quarterbacks because he did not want him. Okay. Dwayne Haskins hasn't been given any type of fair shot. And now he's being dragged through the mud like he's the scum of the earth representing black quarterbacks. And the dude just did immature stuff. He didn't go out and beat no woman. He didn't go out drinking and driving. He didn't do anything illegal. He just did stupid things. And people need to stop and think about the dumb things that they did when they were 23 years old. Because a lot of us on this panel, we could sit here and go, whoa, I'm surprised he's still alive.
Say it again. I hear
Herman, my mother watches this show. Go on.
I'm just saying, think back to the things that we did when we were 23 years old. Come on, man. And this man has millions. We ain't had money like that to do the things that he does. Let me tell you, these players, if they need to be mentored, they need to be coached. Okay, I watch kids play youth sports, right? And when they're embraced by their coaches, and when they feel like their coach is invested in them, they play their hearts out. They do what those coaches want them to do. And I've also seen kids who are kind of turned away by their coach, and them kids have bad attitudes. They don't care about stuff they start to lose their love for the game. Going to the Washington organization was the worst thing that could have ever happened to Dwayne Haskins. Talent-wise, I'm sure he has the talent. We haven't seen it yet. But going to Washington, the dysfunction in Washington, it just
led to another demise of another black quarterback because you did the exact same thing with RG3. These players can't always mature on their own. They need guidance. They need it. They've been prepped up their whole life that they're the best player in whatever. So of course they're going to walk in not being humble. They've never been taught to be humble. And then when you walk into the NFL and you have an organization and coaches that don't want you, you're going to rebel and you're going to do stupid stuff. I hope that he gets a second chance because I think he deserves it. Whether he turns out to be a star in the NFL, we just don't know. But Washington has just as much, if not more, of the blame on this than Haskins does, in my opinion. I'm done.
Okay. First of all
right, let's move on.
No, I don't want shit. You make me cut on the phone. So first of all, let me say I agree with some of what y'all said, but most of what y'all said is a bunch of BS. So let's talk about this whole black quarterback thing, and let's talk about the whole young and stupid thing. Okay, was Russell Wilson not a black quarterback? Or was he not 20-something when he came to the NFL? Deshaun Watson, is he not a black quarterback? Was he not 20-something when he came to the NFL? Kyler Murray, is he not a black quarterback? Was he not 20-something when he came to the NFL? Lamar Jackson, black quarterback, 20-something when he came to the NFL.
All of them wanted by their organization that drafted them.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they want you or not. You want that big paycheck, right? You want to come in here and let's be real. For a lot of people coming to the NFL, especially black athletes, it ain't just for you. It's for your family to bring your family out of poverty. It's for all your future kids. You know, probably a lot of them, want out of wedlock, but that's the way it is.
Did you really?
I'm just saying that's what happened. So this whole it's hard to be a black quarterback. Yes, if this was 1990, I would agree. I think we have enough black quarterbacks on hand now that are starting and are doing very well to dispel this whole black quarterback thing. I think that's a thing in the past right now. Like I said, we got at least 5 or 6 starting black quarterbacks now who are doing very good. Oh, not to mention
Patrick Mahomes.
The dude just beat us. Teddy Bridgewater. Okay.
You didn't say. Yeah, Mark told you the main one.
Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't say Patrick Mahomes.
No,
Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so
you got to look at their upbringing too.
Okay.
Also,
hold on. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Did I interrupt y'all? Take notes and come back when I finish.
Okay. All right,
okay.
Also, no.
So we need to get away from that. We need to get away from that. Okay, there's no excuse. Yes, I did a lot of dumb things when I was his age. Okay, but I also wasn't a multimillionaire and had a lot of responsibility on my head, on me. Okay, he's been groomed to be an NFL quarterback for a long time. Okay, so that is on him. That's completely on him for being immature. We got a lot of other athletes that come into the other sports and they don't do what he did. Now to speak on the whole COVID thing, okay, he got in trouble twice for that. Now you know your coach is taking chemotherapy for cancer. He is at high risk, and yet you take your behind out there and put yourself in a situation where you can catch it and pass it on to your coach. Not to mention your other teammates and everything else. It was highly irresponsible. Now let's talk about his skill level. He really only had one starting year at Ohio State, and you're 100% right. He never should have been taken that early. Never should have been taken. It was all Daniel Snyder's fault. Daniel Snyder wanted him. Gruden didn't want him, and you're right. Rivera didn't want him. But hey, what a real person does who wants to prove himself will go in there knowing he's not wanted and make them want him. He will do what he has to do. Now, from everything I've read, he wasn't doing that. He's very immature. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, and he just wants to step up to the plate.
Why does teammates vote him?
I got to answer for that too. He's probably a very likable dude. He's probably very funny. Everybody likes him. He's the type of dude you invite to your parties, but you don't invite him over to your family get-togethers.
That don't make you a captain in the NFL.
No NFL team makes you a
captain.
captain.
That don't make you a captain in the NFL, Marcus.
Well,
and first of all, okay, let me go back to.
I finished.
I thought you was done.
You gonna make me forget my point. I'm not done. You let me forget my point. Now, the other day in the group chat, you wanted to put it all on the Washington football team.
I didn't say all. I said most.
But there was a lot of stuff you were saying, and I will say this. there's a philosophy called they can be two things right they can be two things correct at the same time. You are absolutely 100% correct. The Washington football team is a dysfunctional organization. They have messed up some quarterbacks, particularly some black quarterbacks, Doug Williams and RG3. Even though I would say RG3 had a lot to do with his downfall as much as the organization did.
I think mess up Doug Williams.
He got screwed. He got screwed.
Him over. They didn't really mess it.
Well, they screwed him over. They screwed him over. Yes, they are a bad organization, but as far as you say they don't develop quarterbacks, well, they seem to develop that one quarterback y'all love so much in Minnesota. Okay, he's a product of that Washington.
Hey, the dead clock is right twice a day. So.
I forgot about Jason
Campbell. I forgot about Jason Campbell, but I don't think Jason Campbell was ever good anyway. But okay, so I will give you all that. Yes, they're a dysfunctional organization. Yes, they mess with quarterbacks. That's correct. But two things can be right in one time. And the other thing that's right is Haskins is garbage. Okay, he has the talent, but he's garbage.
How do you
let me finish. Now, as I may be spoiled after seeing Mahomes, Watson, Lamar, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson play, but I'm sorry. To me, there's no excuse. If they can come in there and be as good as they've been, why can't he come in there and be as good as he's been? It's his fault because he doesn't have the dedication. He doesn't have the determination. He doesn't have their work ethic. He got what he got. He's a bum, and he deserves to be let go. So I will say yes. The Washington football team is a sorry organization. I would say it's probably about 70% their fault, and 30% their fault and 70% Haskins' fault. Haskins is a bum. He will if he doesn't change his attitude, if he doesn't change his work ethic, he will not prosper anywhere else he goes. I'm done.
I mean, we can agree to disagree, but let me go back to, first of all, I wasn't trying to make it any. I said that when I mentioned him being a black quarterback, I said it was sad to see other former black athletes, drag this black quarterback, this black athlete through the mud because they did stupid stuff too. And it's like the media is dogging this guy enough. They don't need to pile on too. Booger McClown, whatever. It's a whole different age of football now. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same as what it was when he was in the league. I just go back to players being wanted by the organization or the coaching staff. It makes a whole hell of a lot of difference. And the fact that this guy was voted a captain by his teammates tells me he was doing something right in the offseason. It ain't because he was a nice guy that, hey, you come over and hang out. They don't vote people captains.
Yeah, I got strippers at my house.
Yeah, they don't vote captains for that. He must have been doing something right. The dysfunctional organization is that when Rivera came in, he should have tried to trade Haskins away right then at that point.
I don't think he had a choice in that one.
I don't think he did.
And that's
he didn't have a choice.
That's part of the problem.
It came with that coaching job.
It did.
Hey, look, yeah.
And that's part of the problem. It really is, and the players know. They know when they're not wanted. It changes things. The relationships that these coaches and players have. When they're not wanted, it's a different situation.
Like I said, if you're not wanted, that should give you more motivation. I mean, Tom Brady was what? He was next to the last pick. You think they really wanted him?
He was 106. Yeah.
They really wanted him.
It's a totally different situation.
You think they wanted him? He was just something like
a totally different situation.
They picked him up just to pick. They think he'd be cut.
And he made it through training camp.
Yeah, I think Tom was a whole different situation. Tom wasn't even a starter his first couple of years in Michigan when he was playing quarterback there. So I think the situation was he was fighting.
My point is, do you really
starting his own career?
Really want that last quarterback the next to the last pick? I mean, you're just picking at that point. It's like we're picking fantasy. That last pick, next to the last pick, we're not really,
Look at that comment that Professor J just put in the chat.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's lying. I mean, I think it shows. I think look, like Brian said, he was sorry in that game. He's been
But
sorry.
let me ask you this: if he was that bad, do you think that didn't show up in practice? Why the hell did they start him?
Definitely.
Why the hell did they start him?
Snyder.
Because that
Definitely.
it shows in practice.
Snyder.
Marcus, where's the tea?
Snyder.
Allen iced tea.
That's why.
I agree with that too, Professor J. You're not going to be motivated to do something if you work hard for somebody that you don't feel wants them. I've seen it in youth football. I watched it.
Okay, youth football, NFL football are the same.
It's the same concept, though.
But
Marcus.
you developing.
It's the same
You
concept.
develop them. Yeah, it's the same mindset.
Dude, you know how many times you get a situation where somebody don't want you? If somebody don't want you, then you prove yourself. You make them need. Not only do you make them want you, you make them need you.
We need to have this conversation about the love connection if Marcus really feels that way. The love connection.
I don't do that.
We need to move on because we're going to eat up the whole show.
All right. Yeah, that's why we had two hot topics, because I knew they were going to run deep because there are some strong feelings about the situation. Nonetheless, Dwayne Haskins, we all at the Lab Game wish you the best.
Professor Jason, we got to do a dial-in number. Yeah, we're going to work on something like that for next week.
I know, because I ain't gonna lie, there was a paragraph up there that I couldn't even get to.
Yeah, that was a long.
I mean, if we got time, I can see the link, Professor J. You can come in real quick if you want to come in. I'll see you the link. I'll see you the link. You can come in if you want to come in, Professor J.
While we're doing that, we're gonna get onto these games because it is. We spend a lot of time.
Hey, look, we're going to end up doing a whole show on the Washington football team.
I know, right?
All right, so we're gonna go over the games we picked last week. The first game we're going to talk about was the Friday night game. There was no Thursday night game last week, but we did have Friday football. The 6-8 Vikings came in to play the 10-4 Saints. It was bad. 155 yards and 6 touchdowns is what Alvin Kamara did to the Vikings D. Breeze was 19 of 26. 311 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. The Saints put up a total of 583 yards, 52 points, and a division title. The Vikings look forward to next year as they were eliminated from playoff contention. In this game, I'll go first. I picked the Saints. It was embarrassing, and I picked it right. Herman, who did you go with?
Yeah, I went with the Saints on this one. This was basically like a live practice for the Saints. I feel like they wanted to get Drew Brees into his rhythm again. They got Kamara in the game. It was ridiculous. Wasn't even close.
Marcus?
I mean, close. I picked the Saints. I'm never picking Kirk and the Vikings, but I wasn't expecting. I damn sure wasn't expecting that blowout. I mean, Alvin Kamara, he came to eat that day. I mean, good.
22 for 155.
That is crazy. I picked the Saints and they pulled it out.
They blew it out. It wasn't even a pull. They blew it out.
Right.
Herman. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara, 6 touchdowns. It was Kamara against the Vikings is what it was. He also had those you see him wearing those Christmas Day themed titty shoes. Cleats. That was cool. And they captured the 4th straight NFC South title. Of course, they eliminated the Vikings, which was bad for them. They knocked them out of contention. They just mushed that offensive line, just mushed them along. They just dominated them the whole game. I took the Saints on this one, and they were victorious.
All right. So the next game we had was a little more exciting. This was a Saturday game. We had the 9-5 Dolphins at the 7-7 Raiders. A combination of magic, luck, and stupidity helped the Dolphins get a 26-point win over the Raiders Saturday. The Raiders were in control of this game for the majority. Was in control of this for the majority of the game. Late in the 4th quarter, Raiders were down 23-25, but driving for the go-ahead score. Jacobs breaks through and can score, but chooses to slide down at the 1. The Raiders eat clock and kick a field goal and kick a go-ahead field goal, leaving the Dolphins 19 seconds. Fitzmagic goes 34 yards in 3 plays, and Sanders kicks a 44-yard field goal as time expires. The Dolphins' playoff chances continue while the door shuts on the Raiders' chances. Marcus, who did you pick?
I picked the Dolphins. Even though the Raiders have been doing pretty good this season, I've just never been on that bandwagon. And they pulled it out like we talked about earlier. That that last drive by the Dolphins. I mean, that was definitely magic. I don't really fault him for falling to the ground and not scoring. I mean, they figured. I guess he had faith. I guess Gruden had faith in the defense that they could stop him from doing what they did. But sometimes you call it wrong. They probably should have scored. They would have won that game. But it is what it is. But I'm glad to see the Dolphins pull that win out, and they did.
Herman.
Yeah, I picked the Dolphins on this one also. I've been on that Dolphins bandwagon. It's funny that because that whole, don't score thing, don't give them the ball back, that mess then came back to bite somebody now. So now I've always thought it was stupid not to score.
Well, it depends if you have a good defense. If you have a good defense,
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you still gave him a field goal chance to win.
Yeah, put more points on the board. Put more points on the board. And then if I believe in my defense, we got more points that they have to score a touchdown to win. It's going to be interesting to see now because before the big thing was always don't score. Now when you're running down there, it's going to be like, ooh, what should I do? So I picked Miami. Again, like I said before, I don't like what Brian Flores is doing with his quarterbacks. I think he just needs to pick one and roll with them. But I'm hoping to see Miami, get the victory this week so they can get in the playoffs.
But just to give a comparison, Tua had 9 offensive drives and a total of 94 yards. Fitzmagic had 3 offensive drives for a total of 182 yards. So
that's why he needs to roll with Fitzpatrick and just sit the young guy down.
Yeah, and this one I was with you guys. I also picked the Dolphins to win. The Dolphins had the better defense, but you got to give the Raiders credit. They should have won this game. Just poor coaching decisions at the end. I'm with Herman. Score. You get the touchdown. You beat me you got to get a touchdown to beat me, not a field goal. I mean, Bama's are kicking 60-yard field goals like it's nothing nowadays,
But how bad a field goal kick has been this season?
But I'm saying one pass interference penalty gets you in field goal range.
Yeah, it's so much easier to get in field goal range than it is to score that touchdown.
You scored a touchdown, then you deserve it. So bad play calling by Gruden, and you deserve what you got by making a poor decision. And that was true because he told his players in the before the drive, don't score. Don't tell your players don't score. Score. All right, Mark.
I made this. I think we all were on this one. The Dolphins. Fitzmagic no look pass. He said he didn't know that it was completed. He had his head getting ripped off, so he didn't realize that pass was completed down there. The Raiders not scoring. I'm scratching my head on that one. I don't understand it either. You take the points. 10 out of 10 times, man. I don't agree with that one. The Raiders eliminated from the playoffs. This is their 5th loss in 6 games. And will be out of the playoffs for the 17th time in 18 seasons. Bad. That's bad.
Hey, just real quick, Big Ed put in a note that with the Alvin Kamara, with the 6 touchdowns, he scored like 50 fantasy points.
Yeah.
And we have Ben watching who had Kamara, but he was on a bye this week because he was out of the playoffs. So those points went to waste.
That's wrong.
Also, he had put a note up there about Gruden. It also wore the wrong hat a few weeks ago.
So, yes, the Oakland hat. Yes.
He's lost. He's definitely lost. All right, let's keep it moving. We're going to talk about.
But where's those? What's those assistants? That first job you get when you
where they
before you become a coach. There should be somebody in charge of that. But hey, make sure I get on the right.
That's when the equipment guy should be.
Yeah, you would
You would
think.
think.
I thought they laid their stuff out for them. So
He has to be pulling those hats out of his office or
you know,
something.
maybe he wore it in and just never took it off. All right, so there was another Saturday game. It was the 49ers at the Cardinals. The Niners were eliminated from playoff contention before this game started, but somebody forgot to tell them the Niners with the third string quarterback and a fourth string running back put up 398 yards and 20 points on the Cardinals, who needed this game to continue their playoff dreams. Murray was 31 of 50, 247 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He did rush for 75 yards, but was unable to put points on the board. The 49ers shocked the Cardinals 20-12, and the loss opens the door for the Bears to control their playoff destiny. In this particular game, I picked the Cardinals, and they needed it, and they did not play well, and I picked this one wrong. Congrats to the 49ers. You guys played hard. With George Kittle in the game, too, and he came out there and balled. Herman, who did you pick?
You know, I picked the Cardinals, and this is the exact Cardinals team that I thought might show up. Because I said it, I was like, they play soft sometimes, you know. I don't know. You know, Murray can't throw 50 times. They couldn't beat the 49ers with a third string quarterback. If they make it to the playoffs, they're probably one and done anyway. They still got some work to do. But they're definitely on the upswing. I think that the Cardinals.
Okay.
They're definitely on the upswing. I mean, you're gonna see Murray to Hopkins. Yeah, that's your future right there. So I picked the Cardinals. I got that one wrong.
Marcus?
I also picked the Cardinals. And so like Herman said, you know, depends on who shows up. And they just couldn't get it going. I feel like San Francisco defense, with all those injuries on their front line, they still managed to, you know, put up a hell of a defensive game. You know, it and also the Cardinals couldn't stop the run game. What's the guy?
Jeff Wilson.
22 carries, 182 yards, averaging 8.3 yards.
The fourth string running back.
I mean, I put it to you this way: if the 49ers get the defense back healthy, if they get Garoppolo, he might not be the answer. If they get a real quarterback, they're going to be dangerous. If they can do this with all the injuries and like I said, a third string quarterback, when they get a real team out there, good God,
I know it makes you sick that Shanahan got out the door too.
I don't even talk about it no more. I don't even talk about it no more. Shanahan, what's the other guy's name? Rams coach?
McVay. But you know what? It might not even have made a difference. In all honesty, because of the Snyder factor. So
interesting.
Yeah, but I picked the Cardinals, and the Cardinals still have a chance to make it to the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they do.
They need a lot of help. They need a lot of help.
Yeah. I mean,
they got to beat the Rams.
Yeah, they got to beat the Rams.
The way the Rams are playing, I don't know. Maybe
the Rams lost their starting quarterback, so.
Oh, they did. Yeah. So, yeah, but I picked the Cardinals, and I was wrong.
All right. So the next game.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Brian. Mr. Brian, I didn't get my choice in it and talk about it.
I know.
So I know.
Well, then can you be quiet so I can say mine?
Hey, Mark, who did you pick?
Thank you. I also took the Cardinals. One other thing about this, that's it. I mean, he avoided the big mistakes. That's all they needed to do. And the way they was running the ball game, that's all they needed to do. The only sad thing about this is this might be the last time we see Larry Fitzgerald playing a home game in Arizona. This might be his last year. And the other twist of this is by losing this game, this actually gives the Bears a chance to make the playoffs, believe it or not. It puts them in position to get the playoffs.
Yeah.
You believe that?
That's ridiculous.
But it's crazy.
My rundown, but obviously you weren't listening.
No, but I'm saying that even though they lost, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you, Brian.
Okay, all right. I appreciate you agreeing with me.
Thank you. Move on. Go. Please.
Hey man.
All right. We're done with the Saturday. We're back on Sunday. Now, this was supposed to be the game of the week. Sunday night, the Titans versus the Packers.
Jesus.
As the snow fell Sunday night on Lambeau Field, so did the touchdowns thrown on the Titans defense by MVP candidate Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was 21 for 25, 231 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. 3 of the 4 went to Devontae Adams, who racked up 142 yards on 11 receptions. Newcomer A.J. Dillon ran for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns, as the Packers dominated the Titans 40-14. But I'm gonna need for Dillon to practice that Lambeau leap before.
Hey man, it was snowing out there.
Hey, then
There wasn't no fans to help pull him up.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Marcus, who did you pick?
I picked the Titans. I've been on the Titans bandwagon this season, but I'm, it's starting to have to say the same thing about the other teams. You just don't know which one's going to show up. I thought for sure that the Titans were going to come in there and punch the Packers in the mouth. I thought we was going to have another meme with Derrick Henry basically stiff arming some receiver or safety, and it just did not happen. The Packers defense showed up. They pretty much kept Henry in check. I mean, he did get 23 carries for 98 yards, 4.3 yards in average, but that just wasn't enough. I mean, this wasn't pretty much a game at all. It's good to see that the Packers are finally maybe able to stand up to teams, rough teams, because my idea about the Packers were that they were a finesse team, and they wouldn't be able to handle those kind of 3 inches in a yard, hit you in the mouth type teams, but they proved me wrong. I'm really gonna need the Titans to be consistent. It seems like they're almost there, but they're just not consistent all the time. Because they've lost some games I never would imagine them losing this season. I just really never expected them to lose this game at all. Never expected, but I picked the Titans and I was wrong.
Mark, who did you have?
Yeah, I was with Marcus. I took the Titans on this one too. The Packers just ran wild. A.J. Dillon, who's a rookie, he spent about a month on the covert reserve list. He got a chance to get in the game because of injuries, and of course he did well. The Packers defense played well too. They picked off 2 of Tannehill passes, and basically, for the Packers they make no mistake, they want the playoff to go through Lambeau. Out of the couple of the playoffs that they've been through, after losing on the road the last 6 NFC championships, they want the championship or the road to the playoff to come through Lambeau, and we're gonna see that probably.
Herman.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed in the Titans right now. It's like Marcus said, they are so inconsistent, man. You don't know which team is going to show up. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. I mean, Aaron Rodgers threw 231 yards and 4 touchdowns in a snowstorm. Like, what was the defense doing?
He had four touchdowns with only 25 attempts.
Yeah, 25 attempts. I mean, man, come on. The Packers, the Titans, they need to get on that run again, like they did last year. If they think they're going to do something in the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, they got to win to get in, right? I don't think they've clinched. So
they're one of those 10-5 teams in the AFC
they need to get Henry going more. I know he had 23 carries for 98 yards, but you need to get him going early. They have been notorious for starting late in games. You can't do that against the Packers. You can't do that against Aaron Rodgers. But I picked the Titans. I had it wrong. The Packers were impressive. Like Marcus said, I thought they would come out, get hit in the mouth, and crumble, but nah. And they better figure people playing the Packers. I mean, Devontae Adams, stop him.
Here's the thing I understand. Everybody usually shuts down the number 1 wide receiver, and he's pretty much the only wide receiver. How is he going to get shut down?
Exactly. Stop him.
That's the only person. Rodgers throws.
Nobody's been able to stop that dude this year.
Huh?
nobody's been able to stop Devontae.
I know, but like Marcus said, like it's not like they got a great number 2 and number 3 that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
You got to figure out a way to not let Devontae Adams beat you when you play the Packers.
So I'll finish it out. I was with you guys. I also picked the Titans. I don't know. I mean, there was a show with Aaron Rodgers was on, and he was having a conversation on how the cold and that weather changes how you play. Was it that dramatic that it changed the way that the Titans played? I don't know.
But they're a running team.
They are a running team, but it did play a factor. It definitely played a factor. The Packers act like it was no snow on the ground. I mean, they were doing whatever they wanted, like it was a regular game. But you could see the Titans' offense was slower. The receivers just weren't getting open as they normally do. It seemed to play a factor in that game. Now, was it that dramatic? I mean, the score, showed that it wasn't. 40-14. The Titans had made it close. I think it was like 14-7 or something like that. And then the Packers just blew the doors off them. But I just wonder how this game would have been on a more neutral turf. So you were right about getting that home field advantage. If they can get them, all these teams coming down to play in Lambeau, they definitely have an advantage. All right, so the next game we're going to talk about, and we're going to be really short on this one because this was boring. I mean, boring. The Buffalo Bills basically demolished the New England Patriots. The other MVP candidate that Herman loves, Josh Allen, just went off as usual. They ran, they threw, they did whatever and anything that they chose to do. Cam was terrible as normal. It was just embarrassing. I think I went to bed at like halftime. It wasn't even no need. I don't even think I watched the highlights like the next morning like I normally do. But I'll go on with this one, man. I picked the Bills. The Bills beat the brakes off the Patriots. It wasn't even close. We'll start off with Herman on this one. Who'd you get?
I picked the Bills. I wasn't crazy enough to pick. I wasn't crazy enough to pick the Patriots. I mean, I've been dogging Josh Allen all year long. Josh Allen is definitely MVP candidate material.
What? Hey, Marcus, lock the tape.
He won't win it. He won't win it. He won't win it. Hey, and that's not his fault.
Who that guy in the corner just said?
He won't win it though. He's playing at an MVP.
I can't believe he said.
Yeah, he's playing at an MVP caliber against losing teams. Nah, but seriously, it's like you said, man. Buffalo went into this game to make a statement. They wanted the NFL, the AFC East, especially the New England Patriots, to know this is our division now. Point blank, period. They whooped the Patriots up and down the field. Swept them. Yeah, I'll be glad when this season is over because the Cam experience has been a nightmare for the Patriots. I'm not blaming him. I don't think it was a good fit. Just in general, it was just a bad fit. It just wasn't a good fit. Patriots, don't count them out though. They will be back next year, I believe, if they get a quarterback. And they get some of their team back. They had a lot of people opt out from COVID, but the Bills is a hard out in the playoffs this year. It's a very hard out.
Yeah, Herman, you're right about that Cam experience, and it's really like sad because this is one of the first years in a long time that he stayed healthy for the most part. Except for like with the COVID scare. I think he missed a game for COVID.
Yeah.
The rest of that he played all these games, so it's kind of sad. You were hoping for more. You were kind of rooting for Cam to do well.
Yeah.
Even if you stay with the Patriots, maybe you have a chance with another team, but it doesn't look that good at this point.
No.
Marcus.
Of course, I picked the Bills. Shout out to Bills Mafia MVP candidate Josh Allen. I definitely wasn't expecting that. That was a total blowout. I mean, like Herman said, they came to make a statement, and they beat them in what's the name of that field?
Foxborough.
Gillette Stadium. They made a statement. I definitely believe the torch was passed. It's definitely saying to New England, your reign is over. Thanks for coming. Now you can leave. And I would say that the Bills are ready to to dominate this league for at least a couple years, but Miami is on the come up, so it may not be that easy. I think it'll probably be switching between Miami and Buffalo, and maybe New England, and maybe
whoa. You're forgetting.
Dominate the league or the division?
Not the league, the division. My fault.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, come back to earth.
The division. Even though, like Herman said, next year we'll see with New England. You know, all those opt-outs will come back in. And I think this is a great time for Bill Belichick to prove he's a great GM too, and do some good draft picks this year. Because his draft picks, his draft history is pretty sorry. If he can get some, he needs to definitely get some skilled players in there on the offense. I haven't heard Julian Edelman's name in a long time. Is he even playing this season?
No, he's on
injured reserve. Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. Like you were saying, I don't really think this was Cam's fault. I just don't think it's a good fit. I just think maybe it'd be interesting to see who picks him up next year. I definitely think
who's gonna pick him up.
Who? The Bears?
No.
Not the Washington football team.
No way.
No.
Come on back.
We don't need.
Come on back, son.
Well, you do need a quarterback. But
We don't need a reputation of destroying other black quarterbacks.
It's a reunion. It's a reunion tour. Come on back, son.
I don't know, because it seemed like Rivera kind of they had a little bit of a falling out, but
I think him and Rivera are still cool tight, man. I think they're fine.
I thought that relationship kind of played its course.
Nope.
So I don't know.
But yeah, I picked the Bills, and of course the Bills won. They pulled it out. It was like Brian said, it was a snooze fest. It wasn't even a game.
All right, Mark, who'd you pick?
Bills Mafia. I took them. The Bills earned this first sweep of the Patriots since 1999. That's crazy. Allen also passed Jim Kelly to set the franchise single season record with 34 touchdowns. With his 8 straight 300-yard game too. He also passed Drew Brees with that one. The single game record was 7 games. He passed him with 8. So yeah, I took the Bills on it, and they were successful.
So I'm looking at the stats. Buffalo had 344 passing yards. New England had 56.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you know what? That trick play in the first half, man.
With New England?
That opportunity, I think it would have gave him a little bit of momentum, but I mean, you see, they got to do gadget plays to get some type of spark out of the offense. That's not going to work, man. It's not.
Rev don't like that idea, Cam.
Sure don't.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either.
I mean, that's a step back. That's going backwards. They need a young quarterback. They need to develop something.
They just had one of those.
I kind of want more of a traditional quarterback.
How younger can you get her? But they just had one of those.
I mean, they obviously have to pull a quarterback out of the draft. I mean, you can't rely on Alex Smith. I don't guess. Maybe you think he wants to roll with Kyle Allen?
That's
No, they need to draft somebody.
I mean, I agree. They should probably draft somebody too, but you might go in the next season with Kyle Allen as your projected starter. Maybe. I don't know.
All right, we're going to move on to the final game that we picked last week, and this was the Rams versus Seattle. This was actually for Seattle to get the division. LA dominated time of possession, 32 minutes, 50 seconds, and was 47% efficient on third down, and put up 334 offensive yards. What they didn't do was score. The Rams could only score 9 points. They could have scored 12, but again, an NFL team scoffs at 3 points and goes for it on 4th and goal and gets turned away. Russell was efficient, 20 of 32, 225 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. With the win, the Seahawks secured the NFC West title. And also, we know in that game,
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff broke his finger. He played through the game with the bad thumb, but he is going to have surgery, so he will not be playing in the game this week against the Cardinals. Marcus, who'd you pick?
Hey, I'm tired of you picking me last. Are you gonna pick me first in any of these sessions, Brian?
Hey, look, I'm trying to be like Herman. You know, last week Herman was picking himself first all the time. So
really, is that what we're doing?
Mark, you're gonna go first, buddy, when you start making these picks in the next section.
I picked the Seahawks. I definitely wasn't expecting that that bad of a turnout by the Rams. It just, I don't know. A lot of these teams just, I don't know, not consistent. I've said a couple times this season, I thought the Rams were the most well-rounded team in the NFL. They haven't been looking like it the last 2 weeks. They lost to the Jets, which should never happen, and then they came and lost to the Seahawks. Didn't even put up much of a fight. I mean, I don't know what's going on with them, but they definitely need to get it together. 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl and they didn't make the playoffs last year, and they might not make the playoffs this year. But congrats to Russell and the Seahawks, and I picked the Seahawks and they pulled it out.
Yeah, you're right, Marcus. I picked the Rams in this one, and I picked it wrong. And you're right again. They may be 9-7 and out of the playoffs for 2 years in a row. It's like the luster has kind of worn off on this team. And where did the Seahawks defense come from? I mean, they were lighting them up. I mean, that is not the same defense we was watching the last 14 or 15 weeks where they were on pace to set records for scoring and everything. I expected a lot more. And again, on 4th and goal, I guess this is my new mantra: kick the damn field goal, man. Get your points. It's just getting ridiculous. You're going for it, you don't get it, you turn over the ball, and you give the other team momentum. So I picked the Rams. They probably won't make the playoffs because they got to play the Cardinals, and without your starting quarterback, it's going to be tough. And that quarterback they got, that dude is little. I don't know. I can't remember what his name is right now.
Wolford.
Wolford. He's little. He's a little guy. So I picked the Rams. I picked it wrong. Herman, who'd you pick?
Yeah, I picked the Rams on this one too. I mean, this is kind of one of those classic. It shows you that.
What we're laughing
at. Your defense can play. Your defense can play good and hold you in a game, but when your offense doesn't score, it doesn't matter what your defense does. The Rams had 5 sacks on Russell Wilson, 9 quarterback hits. I mean, the defense is doing what they need to do. It seems like the offense is what's really letting the Rams down. The offense it's not there this year. It doesn't seem like, and it's interesting. You think it could be because Gurley's gone?
They got injuries at the running back.
Cam Akers is good. He didn't play.
They lost him. He got hurt. He
got hurt. So it equates to no run game basically. But Goff you can't have Goff thrown 43 times and expect to win. It's not going to happen for the Rams. So they need to get that running game going. I don't see how they win this week with Goff out. In all honesty, their quarterback's never taken an NFL snap. So they're not going to make the playoffs.
Well, I already know.
I picked the Rams, and I got this one wrong. You're right. You do know who I'm picking for next week.
so they're going to be 9-7. Like I said again, and then they'll make the playoffs. While a team in the NFC least with a losing record makes it to the playoffs.
Let's just move on from that. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's just the NFL rules. It's not our fault. We suck.
Right.
All right, Mark. Who did you pick?
Yeah, Seattle claimed their NFC West title, but the key thing is that golf inconsistency. It stands out to me big time, especially with considering how well the defense played initially. Their offense can't get the points done for the Rams. They can't get points, and this was before he had the broken thumb too. So there's a lot of questions with this Rams quarterback. It's inconsistent play from Golf. That's what's killing the Rams right now. It's going to be interesting to see what this quarterback do in here if he can get coached up to just basically he ain't asked to do a whole lot with his offense. They do a whole lot of dink dunks, screens, and so forth. So he ain't got to do a whole lot and let the defense play. But I took Seattle in this one, and they were successful.
All right. Hey, on our quick conversation about Washington football team future quarterbacks, Ben put up Stafford. What do you think about that, Marcus?
I'd rather go young. I wouldn't mind Stafford, but
you're stopgapping.
I would hate for y'all to get Stafford.
Well, he's gonna turn the ball over.
I wouldn't mind it, but I'd rather go for somebody young.
Yeah, Stafford's biggest issue lately now is he's just been getting injured each week.
Hey, it's hard to play in the NFC East. It's a physical division too.
That is true. That is true. All right, gentlemen, count them up. Count them up. How did you do?
4-2.
3-3.
4-2.
I think I was 4.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, we know you don't know what you
I was 4.
Can somebody count Marcus? It's on the rundown.
I was 4-2 though. Right?
It's on the rundown.
I want you to just add it up before the show, Marcus. Okay?
I think I might start doing that. I think I should. Why don't you stop asking us to count them up? How about that? Just
part of the show, sir. All right, let's go on. Let's hurry up because we've been on the air for a minute. Let's talk about these next games coming up. All the games we picked pretty much have all they do have playoff ramifications.
All of them do.
All of them do. So the first one we got are the 10-5 Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. What are the Bills? The Bills are 12-3. I forgot to update that. Vegas is giving Bills to the 7. I'll go first. I think Buffalo rolls. I think it'll be a good game, but I don't think that there's enough magic over there in Miami to get the W on this one. Give me the Bills. Mark, who you got?
I'm taking Bills Mafia on this one too. Give me the Bills.
Herman. You can't.
We don't know yet.
Marcus didn't pick yet.
Whatever. I'm going with the Dolphins.
You said the Dolphins?
It's Marcus co-sided. Marcus, who do you got?
I'm picking the Bills. Bills Mafia all day.
Real quick, Big E. We'll try to have our overall records next week.
Who's gonna do all that damn counting?
We know you ain't gonna count, but I can get mine.
Hey, look, since we ain't got no plans for New Year's Eve, I guess I can.
we can sit home and count.
Oh man! All right, so the next game we're going to talk about are the 12-3 Steelers versus the 10-5 Browns. In this one, the only scenario really is if Cleveland wins, they are in. Pittsburgh can't really do anything to change their standing because they won the Super Bowl last year.
Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 seed.
The number 1 seed, Jesus. The Browns are actually giving up 7 in this one. Mr. Parker, who do you think is going to win this game?
Ben's not playing.
Right. So it's the Mason.
Ben's not playing.
This
is the first time he's playing them since the Garrett incident too. Is the Browns wide receivers coming back in this game?
They are coming back this game.
Yeah.
I think I'm taking the Browns. Steelers don't have nothing. I mean, it's more. Browns have so much to gain on this one. I'm taking the Browns on this one.
Herman.
I'm going with the Browns. They get their receivers back, and the Browns have everything to play for. It's winning in, right, for them?
Yep.
They get a win. They are.
We're going to see the Browns in the playoffs for the first time in however many years, which is good. I'm glad to see. I'll be glad to see that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm also going with the Browns hesitantly. I still think Baker's trash. I don't like Baker. I'd like to see the Steelers stomp them and send them home, but I don't think that's going to happen, especially without Big Ben. I just don't see Mason Rudolph being able to do that, especially since the Steelers don't really have.
Look, he don't have flashbacks. He's going to be scared.
I call no N-word. No, just I don't get it back. So give me the Browns. Marcus, who do you got?
Sorry, just playing. But I'm gonna pick the Browns. Like you guys said, the receivers will be back, and they have a lot to play for. They win and they end. But what I don't understand is why is Big Ben not playing?
He needs rest.
He needs rest. He's got a slight dislocated knee that he's been hampered on. So
didn't he hyperextend his
knee.
elbow
His knee. Not elbow.
His knee? Okay.
It was his knee. So and they basically hasn't had any offs, the bye. So they basically gonna give it to him. So
See, I think that's a mistake. Yeah, they can't improve their standings, but the way they've been playing they barely came back and beat the Colts. The way they've been playing this last month, I don't know if you should be resting these two.
Ben's old, man.
Ben's old, and Ben's coming off of that arm thing anyway, so he needs to.
And plus, it doesn't. Hey, Marcus, this doesn't change anything for us. We're gonna be at the spot that we at. No, regardless.
I know, but you guys haven't played they haven't played a whole game in a while. You know what I'm saying? They haven't played a complete whole game in a while. Yeah. I don't know if going to playoffs you want to be. I feel like you need all the snaps you can get.
But the risk outweighs the reward.
Exactly.
There's zero reward.
Do you know who they do to play in the first round?
No.
If I was a Steelers fan, I'd be a little bit worried about that. I don't know about that.
There are too many 10-5 teams.
Right.
Figure it out.
Because they haven't really looked that great.
So we talked about this next game, the 8-7 Cardinals versus the 9-6 Rams. When I looked this up, the Rams were giving up 5.5, but I did not double check it after we found out that the starting quarterback is not going to play. With that being said, we're going to let Herman go first because he already said who he picked.
Yeah, well, at first, neither starting quarterback was supposed to play in this game.
Right.
But right before we went on the air, NFL Network reported that Kyler Murray was going to play. So being that Kyler Murray is going to play and the Rams are starting a quarterback who's never thrown an NFL pass, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I know the Rams have a good defense, but we saw last week what happens when your defense shows up and your offense doesn't. So I'm going with the Cardinals.
Mark?
This was tough for me. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Rams win, they're in, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
So Cardinals,
the Rams. Oh yeah, and so the Cardinals too, though. Right?
So the Cardinals need help because their Bears game makes decision for the Cardinals. Correct? Am I correct on that?
If Arizona wins, they're in.
So yeah, if Arizona wins, they're in.
If they're in there, man, I'm gonna take the Rams, man. I think McVay is gonna coach his team up. Is Cam Akers playing this particular game?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna take the Rams on this one.
Marcus?
I'm going to the Cardinals. Like Herman said, start quarterback not playing. Even though that I don't know, it might be a good thing. When they ain't got no film on the quarterback. That tends to, that first game they come in, they know film. It takes a while for the rest of the NFL to catch up. That could be in their favor. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm still picking the Cardinals because I damn sure like to see Kyler Murray make it into the playoffs. It's the Cardinals.
Marcus, go ahead and hit it for Mark so he can have.
Bring your hat. Make sure you have your hat next week.
Yeah, again, I was with Herman too. Before everything came out, there was a question on both quarterbacks. If both quarterbacks wasn't playing, then I based it on defense, and I was going to go with the Rams. But with that, I know nothing about this dude. Like I said, he looked little to me on what little bit of footage they showed of him in a preseason game or something. Anyway,
he played in the AFL.
Okay, yeah, give me the Cardinals, but it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, like you said, McVay could coach him up and get him in there, but it just doesn't seem like. I mean, when he had the chance to beat Seattle, they didn't step up and they had their starting squad. So, all right, the next game we got are the 12-3 Packers versus the 8-7 Bears. The Packers are giving up 5 by Vegas. The Packers win and they get the first round bye. The Bears win and they're in the playoffs. So with this particular note, I don't think it's any question. I think the Bears are going home. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to cement his nomination for MVP. So I'm going with the Packers. Mark, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers in this one too. Even though this is one divisional game and they're gonna knock the snot out of each other, but I think the Packers gonna prevail in this one.
Herman?
I'm rolling with the Packers. Division rivalry game. There's no way you let a division rival into the playoffs when you have a chance to knock them out. And y'all know I don't pick Mitch Trubisky.
Did I freeze it or Herman?
No, I think you froze.
I think you.
I think it's you.
Okay.
You're unfrozen now, though.
I'm done.
Who did he pick? I didn't hear it.
Oh, I picked the Packers. I don't pick Mitch Trubisky.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, not
All right,
happening.
Marcus.
Like Herman said, they win and they get the bye. This is Aaron Rodgers. He's probably going to submit his MVP candidacy. But
Really?
after that blowout win they had last week against the Titans, they're going to come in there and stank it up. I'm picking Mitch Trubisky and the Bears.
I would not be surprised, Marcus. In all honesty, I would not be surprised.
I'm saying is all three of y'all have your hats handy so far. I can't believe this has been the best week so far. I'm proud of y'all. Damn, let me change my pick on this last one just so I can blow whoop too. No, the last one we got the WFT squad.
WTF?
Washington football team.
Versus, I was waiting for her. The 6-9 WTF versus the 4-10-1 Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are actually giving up 5 in this one. It's pretty simple. If Washington wins, they get the division and they go to the playoffs. The Eagles have no chance. They are out of it. There is a strong possibility that Heineke may start for the Washington team. Marcus, who's going to win this game?
Out of obligation, I'm going to pick the Washington football team. Full disclosure, I don't believe in that pick. I really think the Cowboys are going to be the division winners, but I'm picking the Washington football team.
All right, man, who do you got?
I got to go with the Eagles. I'm hoping they're going to do us well. We got to win too, but I think that the crazy 2020 is for the Eagles to beat the Washington team.
Marcus, what are you eating?
Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah, we heard that. And
You know we're doing the show. I don't know if you know this, but we're doing the show. We normally wait to eat after the show.
I mean, Washington have that good defense, but even if Alex Smith plays, I mean, yeah, he's an upgrade, of course, from Heineken.
Heineken. It's Heineken.
I know. But it's not like the GOAT is stepping in, you know what I'm saying, to come in and save the day. So maybe, I'm probably seeing Alex will start, maybe try to get y'all some points on the board. He's going to play as long as he can, but he'll probably get pulled. But I think the Eagles, after that smack in the mouth that they got by the Cowboys last week, and you have to go to Philly, they're going to be on a mission. No, it's a no hat rule, according to Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
And he might be playing for his job, so I mean, he might be coaching for his
I'm
job.
not too worried about Peterson going in.
No, they said he's back next year. Yeah. They expect him back. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Mark.
At beginning of the season when we was doing our predictions, I had the Eagles to win this division. So much for that. In this particular game, I'm gonna have to take the Eagles on this one also. Is Deshaun Jackson playing in this one also?
I'm about to say it.
He gonna burn y'all.
He might only get one play though. I mean,
hey, look, it don't matter. That's all he needs is one play.
Yeah,
that's all he needs.
A touchdown though. So
yeah, he gonna burn.
Saying, like the coaches staff, he burnt Dallas last week, and then they didn't call another play for the guy.
Yeah, that's all he needs is one. Yeah, I got the Eagles.
All right, Marcus, go ahead and go.
Of course. The reason why two of y'all only picked the Eagles because you want the Cowboys to make the playoffs.
Of course.
But I think part of the reason is, again, I do like the offense of the Washington team is what's making me nervous. I think that the defense will hold up for the most part, but it only takes a couple, like you said, one bomb to Deshaun Jackson, one slip up where you let Hurts get out there and hurt you running the ball. I just think that they'll get enough points to win the game. And I think that the defense will keep them in it, but I just don't think the offense will pull their part, and eventually they'll fail. I don't think it'll be a real high score game. I'm thinking like maybe like 20. Maybe the Eagles get 20 points, maybe. But I think that it was a good run for Washington, and I think that the Cowboys will be headed on to the playoffs.
In full disclosure, I probably won't watch 1 minute of this game.
Really?
I mean, how can you not? It's Sunday night.
I'm too nervous. I'm too nervous.
Well, you got to watch the replay so you can have some commentary.
Right.
I was going to say you got to talk about the show.
Nah, I'm gonna put y'all bammers on silent.
Hey, look. He gotta watch it. He gotta watch it. We gotta talk about the show. So
I can watch the replay.
To know something.
I can watch the replay, sir.
Oh my gosh.
I got the NFL game day package.
My god.
The online thing. I can watch the whole game later on. Which if they lose, I'm not watching. I'm not even watching that. So if they win, I'll watch the whole game.
So we got a lot of good games coming up. Like I said, I think it was 13 out of the 16 games have playoff ramifications this week. So a very exciting week of football coming up for us. We want to, thank you guys for joining us for another week of the show. We're going to have our final thoughts, and then we're going to get Marcus. Let us get us out of here. Herman, are you ready for your final thought?
Yeah, just Happy New Year. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you supporting us, Miles. Score. That's my final thought for the 2020 season. Score.
Or just let's just get rid of the kickers. Let's just get rid of kickers. You don't need to kick anymore.
Right. But everybody be safe. Have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Are you ready, Marcus?
Y'all two didn't go. I go last, remember?
No, yeah, because he wraps out the show right after he goes.
I wanted to go last, but okay. Because remember I was trying to. He made me be quiet. Go ahead, Mark.
I guess we never pay attention to this rundown sheet, huh?
What's that? I've never seen that. What is that?
Hey man, I mean, I'm saddened that we getting close to the end of this thing, man. It's been cool. It's been cool this season. I'm surprised we got to this particular point. Happy New Year to you all. Also, wish congratulations to Darren for beating me in our fantasy football league. Congrats to you. You not only just beat me, you beat me by 53 points, which is fantastic whooping. But congratulations to you on that one.
And also he beat three of us on his way to
that championship.
Yeah. He knocked three of us out. One, the fourth one wasn't in the playoffs, so we couldn't talk about him.
Somebody wasn't. That dude right there on the right at the bottom, he wasn't even in the playoffs.
But nevertheless, man, congratulations to you. And also, Happy New Year. And let's get back to this thing in 2021.
All right. I agree with you guys and your sentiments. Again, like Mark said, congratulations, Darian. Darian has been a contributor to the show. He's always chatting. He's always helping us out with stats and things. And I mean, I remember when we were first playing, and him and his father would have a joint team and stuff. And then he took on his own. And I mean, he's really dominated us. I mean, I think we look back, he's won like 3 or 4 times in our league. So very impressive. Even though he had the first pick in the draft. But
yeah. Yeah, what's up with that one?
His first pick didn't even play, so
right. He lost that pick. I mean, he lost that pick.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
It was Saquon, right?
No, he had McCaffrey.
He took McCaffrey, but he had Saquon too.
I had Saquon.
Oh, okay, you had him. Okay, that was another.
But McCaffrey was his main one.
McCaffrey was his main one. So
yeah. So congratulations, Darian. Happy New Year to everybody. It's almost 2021. Let everything in 2020 go. Go into the new year with a fresh start. I would also like to say on a personal note that today is a very special day in my life.
That's right.
27 years ago, my youngest son was born, Daquan. Daquan is 20 years old.
I'm going to say, hold on. You almost said 27 years ago.
I was 27.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
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 I'm sorry. I was 27.
Thank you.
Daquan is now a 20-year-old young man. I can't be prouder. I love you to death. Your uncles helped raise you, so if you did mess up, you can blame them as well. Happy birthday, Daquan.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday.
Well, it's a host. You want to tell me?
I gotta say, oh, Marcus, I'm finished.
Come on, Marcus. You can go. Just want to tell you Happy New Year. Please be safe. Don't forget we're in the middle of a pandemic. I know you want to party, but hey, it is what it is. Don't do too much. We still need to be safe. We want everyone to make it all the way through 2021. 2020 has been definitely a different year. I tell you, I never expected this New Year's Eve 2019. Didn't see this one coming, but it is what it is. It's been a crazy year. Like Mark said, I never anticipated them to make it this far in the NFL season. Like I said before, they probably should have shut it down a few times, but it is what it is. But we will see you next year. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out.
See you in 2021. Peace.